I think to start, first of all, to assess kind of the first phase of the bowl preparation, I thought we've had 6 really good competitive practices where you could see guys enjoy competing, and then you could see the competitive spirit of some of our younger players who maybe been on scout team all year, kind of their level of competitiveness rise as the practices went on. I think one guy to me that stood out was Lamont Simmons, who was kind of maybe, I don't want to say going through the motions early on, but could definitely see his competitive spirit the last 2 days rise back up again, which is totally what the purpose of these are for. But also, like I said before, to keep the competitive juices of our frontline guys exactly where they need to be, so that piece doesn't fall off. So all in all, I was pleased with that. We got a little nicked up today. I don't think anything serious the last 2 days, but just bumps and bruises that we need to get cleaned up and healthy with, so that when we come back Wednesday and we go into full-time game plan mode, we're fresh, healthy, we're in a good frame of mind. We'll finish up finals here over the next few days and come back Wednesday through Saturday with the real intention of preparing for Nebraska.
Any additional information about Antoine Woods' injury?
Not yet. He's getting a test today on it. We'll know more again Wednesday.
We saw Trey out here today.
Yeah.
Did it turn out it wasn't turf toe? It was a fracture or something? Or was it something?
Well, it's a combination. Really, that's what turf toe can be. And your turf, I'm getting way too technical here, but it can chip a piece of a bone off if you do it pretty severe. And we think that bone chip was previously, but the turf toe aggravated it, and we just felt like the right thing to do was to go in and clean it up at that point, which we had talked about. So to get him back fresh and healthy for spring and next fall is going to be huge for us.
Stephen Mitchell looked like he was having a great day out here, and then he ends up with ice on his knee at the end. Is that just a maintenance thing, or did he bang that up?
He just banged it. He should be fine.
How has he looked to you
I think he's improved. I think he's done things. He's practiced much better. So much of when you're coming off of injury is not just physical; it's mental and believing that you're healthy. And I think Stevens has really improved his practice habits, which in turn has improved his game habits. The catch he makes over the middle against Notre Dame, he takes a big hit, pops back up. I don't know early in the year if he does that, but I think he's believing in himself more. He's stronger, and it shows. And then he comes out here and he's making more plays as well when the ball's coming his way. So all in all, that's part of the process, And I've said this before. I get on a soapbox here for a minute. Everybody thinks a guy who's a 4 or 5-star guy is supposed to come in and start every time, and really it shouldn't be the case. It's great that some guys can and do, that Adoree or Juju and these guys can. The reality of it is the developmental process of a college football player really should be about redshirting, working through a redshirt freshman year, getting stronger, getting more confident, and then playing really good football. We in the college football world and in the recruiting world right now, and the reason I'm on this is because I'm going through it in recruiting, is every guy wants to come in and just start. Well, sometimes it takes time to develop into the player that they're capable of being, and I think Stephen is a prime example of that. Showed up here 2 summers ago and was lighting it up in the player-only practices, gets injured, and everybody goes, well, what's wrong with Stephen Mitchell? Where did he go? He's fine. He's going to be a really good football player for us. He's just developing into it right now.
How do you balance that, though? Because when you guys are going into living rooms, isn't part of your pitch, hey, you can come in as a freshman and you can play
I'd never say that to him. I say, I'm going to give you an opportunity to compete. And here, because of our numbers, you might get a few more opportunities in training camp, but I'm not going to play a guy just because I promised to play him. He's going to earn his playing time, whether you're a 5th-year senior or a true freshman. The guys that put us in the best position to be successful, that earn that playing time, are going to get it. All I promise them is an opportunity to come in and compete if they do all of the things in preparation for that. If they're on time for study table, if they're going to class, if they're on time for their workouts, if they're doing all those things, they're taking care of their business off the field, then when we get on the field, they're going to get their opportunity to compete. And some guys take advantage of it early on. Some guys don't recognize how good the opportunity is right away, and it takes them a little longer. We don't give up on them. That's our job, to develop them so that when their time, whether it's in year 2 or even year 3, when their number's called, they can go out and compete and play at a high level. I think of Buck is a guy I wasn't here with, but is a prime example of that, and goes out and has an unbelievable junior year, and probably couldn't be more proud of a guy that he stuck to it and stuck through it all the way through.
When you talk to these kids, though, do you find that they are all well aware of how many freshmen played here this year?
I think so. I think the one thing it says is we're not afraid to play freshmen if they've earned the right to play. And I've never not played a kid, well, he's a freshman, I shouldn't do that, I shouldn't play him. You know, we need to do what's in the best interest of USC, and we need to field the best football team that we can every Saturday that gives us the best chance to be successful. And if that means playing 7, 8, 9 true freshmen, or if that means playing fifth-year seniors, we do what we have to do. I will say there is some value moving forward in those teams that play with fifth-year seniors. We saw that, in my opinion, with Boston College. It was a very mature football team. Mature up front, physical. We've seen that with Stanford over the years, a mature football team. So there is some value in that. But there's also value in when you have dynamic players as true freshmen of putting them on the field as well.
We saw Trey out here today. We've seen a bunch of guys who've been injured, you know, just on the sidelines. We haven't seen them for most of the year. Is it hard to keep those guys engaged, or is there anything that you do to keep them engaged and focused when they're not able to come out and play football?
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, these guys, you get injured and you have a season-ending injury. It's challenging to say, hey, you know, we want you to do great in school. We want you to rehab and get healthy. We want you to be a really good citizen here at USC. And then, hey, we want you at every single practice. That's hard to do. It's hard to stand out here. I don't even know how you guys do it for 2.5, 3 hours every day when you're not fully engaged in it. And so we ask them to do different things. We have we organize some meetings with them just to make sure psychologically they're doing okay, that they're working through it. But in my opinion, this time of year, as you're coming together in the kind of holiday season as a team going to a bowl game, I think it's important for them to be part of our football team, and so that's why we have them out here now.
Is it kind of an individual thing? I mean, we would see Kenny Bigelow basically every day. He's out here, whereas other guys you haven't seen.
Yeah, and I think
kind of, how does that work?
I think too, Kenny was a little further along because of when his injury occurred in the summer, that he was able to do more field work, even individually with our trainers, than maybe a Trey Madden who has surgery in the middle of the season, or a Jabari who has surgery during training camp, so or a Chad Wheeler. So I think every situation is different. We treat them that way. We try not to lump them all together. But Kenny's just a little further along, especially the second half of the season. He's able to warm up and stretch with our guys and run with our guys. So his scenario is a little bit different.
With these decisions of guys, whether to enter the draft or not, how much does the position that they play factor into it? For example, would you be more inclined to, urge a running back to go pro because they only have, so many hits that they can take in their career versus, say, a quarterback?
Well, I think that's all that stuff factors in. That's one piece of it. You have to look at the value of the position in the NFL right now. What's the value of a running back? There hasn't been one drafted in the first round the last 2 years. So there's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, the longevity of the position in the NFL is huge. Also, the longevity in the NFL of if you have your degree or if you don't have your degree. The numbers tell you if you've earned your degree in college, your longevity in the NFL is much longer than somebody who comes out early. So there's a lot of numbers and facts that go into it. Here's all the information. Then, okay, let's make a really educated decision for what's best for each individual. One more? Not even that.
There you go.
All right, guys.